All right. Well, hello everybody. This is DS Syed with Girls in Sports Alberta. We're doing our videos a little bit different and just doing an audio today, so I hope you enjoy. So today we are here with Keyara Wardley, who recently came back from the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. She is one of our mentors who's played on Team Canada for Rugby Sevens. So thank you so much, Keyara, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's get started, and we're here to talk really about your experience in the Olympics and kind of what went through your mind and what led up to that point and stuff like that. So my very first question, and I'm actually really curious about this, is like, how did you feel when you got, because I know we talked a lot about, you potentially qualifying, and so when you got like the letter or the phone call, like how did you feel? Like what was going through your mind?
Yeah, we got a phone call about our selections for the Olympics, and I mean, leading up to that phone call, I think I was like super nervous, super sweaty, like just didn't know what the outcome would be, and got the phone call, sitting around with some of my roommate and my boyfriend, and it was just like, I had no clue what to expect, and I got told that I was selected, and I think like the first thing that just went through my head was, I can't believe I'm going to be an Olympian. And the second thing was just crying. Like I was just so happy, and to know that hard work really does pay off. I think that was just like such an amazing feeling, knowing that I was selected for the 13 that was going to the Olympics.
That's awesome. And so actually I just thought about this. So you're from Vulcan, Alberta, and that, like, from the posts I saw, and even you guys were featured even on the news in terms of the we're supporting you for Olympics. So how was that feeling of support? Like how did you find that the community really banded together?
Yeah, I mean, a small community, it doesn't take much to come together, but I did not expect what I saw, what I felt. So many messages of like, we're so proud of you, like this is amazing. And I mean, coming home, like my mom sent me all these photos of people putting signs up in their windows at the stores, and to come home and see it in person, and then be in the parade that was here. It was such an amazing experience, and I'm so forever grateful for the community to come together and support me like that. I've really never felt anything like that, so that was amazing.
That's so cool. So let's talk about the actual experience. So when you got to the Olympic Village and you were getting settled in, how was it? Like, I've seen pictures of what was there and stuff like that, but like, I guess, how was your experience there when you got there? Did you feel welcome? Did you feel like you had everything set up for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. The people of Japan, like, we're so grateful for them for hosting, and all the volunteers that put in the work behind the scenes. It was such an amazing experience, and I mean, touching down in Japan and all the support we were feeling, we were so welcomed, and I think that just like makes the whole experience, is just feeling welcomed, feeling comfortable. In the village, it was, I mean, jam-packed with athletes. It was crazy to be in one place with the top athletes in the world. So I think that's just a reminder that, believe in your goals and dream big, and you can be there one day. And it was just such an amazing experience to have a dream of mine be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. So when you first stepped on the field to face your opponents, did you expect the level of competition that you guys faced, or was it like, how was that in terms of being on the field and playing the game?
Yeah, it was, I mean, you never, with rugby sevens, it's kind of anyone's game. You never know what you're going to expect. And I think just to run out there onto the field, it was just, I mean, it was so amazing. And to be able to be playing rugby again, I think that was also just another amazing thing, just with COVID and everything that's been happening. So just to be able to run out onto the field and play rugby, I think, I mean, for me, it was so amazing. And just to be happy doing what you love, it was a very good experience.
So you said playing rugby again. So did you guys have time to train in the Olympic Village and stuff like that, or kind of was when you were there, that was it, and it was just your games?
Yeah, I think I want to say we were there for a week before, so we were training quite a bit. We had a few sessions before the tournament, but just to play a game again, it was just so crazy, so surreal, and to be performing on the world stage was even bigger. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Unfortunately, I heard you got an injury from playing. So, can you just tell us what type of injury you got and how it happened, and kind of what steps you've been taking to recover from that injury?
Yeah, during our second game against Fiji, I think there was maybe 2 or 3 minutes left of the game, and I think we were finally playing our game, and I went on a Y line and stepped on the back of one of the girls' foot, and unfortunately my hip subluxed, and I ended up with a fracture in my hip. So, I mean, it was a bit bumming. Like, obviously you don't want to be injured playing something you love, but that's just the game of sevens. And I'm actually grateful that my mom was on one of our flights home back to Victoria. So she spent the week out there with me and helped me get around to all my appointments and stuff. So it was really nice just having her around. And, I mean, there's nothing better than having a family touch. So that was really good. And now I'm back home in Vulcan. And, I mean, seeing everybody and just how grateful they are and how proud they are of me is just amazing. So I think that's definitely lifting up my spirits. But I think family time is a major thing for my recovery.
So your road to recovery. So what is the timeline? Do you know when you're going to get back onto the field again, or is it kind of iffy right now?
Yeah, it's kind of iffy right now. Just taking it day by day as much as I can. I'm not too concerned with it. We have a break for our season before we start in October. So taking it day by day right now, I'm just really worried about getting back on my feet and just being happy, spending time with family. I think that's just my number one right now.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because rest is so important when it comes to sport, and not only physical rest, I mean, due to your injury, but mental rest and being able to, spend time with family, not think about the sport, not think about that kind of the intenseness that comes with the competitiveness, so to speak. That was pretty poorly worded, but you know what I mean, right? Like being able to kind of take that break mentally. So it's really cool. I know there's a big push actually with this Simone Biles taking that step back from her potential gold medal. Do you have anything to say on that? It just kind of popped in my head now, but like in terms of mental health and athletes, and what's your take, not on that situation, but just in general? Do you feel that there's too much pressure on athletes, or do you feel that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even with me, I've played World Series before and been on that kind of a stage, but to be at the Olympics, I think that's just another huge pressure moment for athletes. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much goes into your training and everything before a big tournament or whenever you're performing. So I think, there's obviously a lot of pressure, and I think athletes put a lot of pressure on themselves. So there's that, and then on top of family pressure or friends pressure, and then fans pressure, it's definitely a lot to take in and a lot to comprehend as well. So I think, a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to be a professional athlete and what goes into it. So mental health is a huge asset to your performance, and I think that needs to be a priority over you performing on a stage to impress people. Like, I think you really need to think about yourself before anything else, because you are essentially the one who's performing for yourself. So I think that's just, mental health is just plays a huge role in athletes' performance.
So I'm interested to see, how do you, do you have ways, or have ever thought of ways for you to cope with that type of pressure? You've been to Worlds, you've been to Olympics. What are you doing to yourself to help prioritize that? Obviously the rest right now, but in general, when you're going through your season.
Yeah, we actually have a mental performance person with us at all times during training. So just working with them and finding different strategies to cope with whatever you're feeling. I think that's just a major thing, and just to be open and talk about your mental health is a huge step. And for me, it took me a while to actually talk about how I was feeling, what I was going through when I first joined the program. And I think the biggest thing to take away is whenever you're going into a new program, a new event, whatever you're doing, I think just knowing that your mental health comes first and that you need to talk about it is huge in life in general. But yeah, just to be able to talk about mental performance, it's not, it is there, and it's not really nobody really talks about it. So I think it's time to really put a bold cap on that, because you really can't get anywhere without a really strong, positive mental health.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a huge push for sports psychology and that approach to kind of being able, and integrating that within youth programs too. And so it's interesting, because it's kind of almost telling you to dial it back a little bit and say, okay, this is what's needed, but we also need to take care of each other on that stage. So my next question for you is, what's next? Obviously rest and recovery is huge right now, but once that's over, what's next? You reached your goals as Olympian. Is you want to go back? Is there an opportunity to do that, or?
Yeah, I'm hoping to go back and hopefully go to another Olympics. It's only 3 years away, so that's pretty crazy to think about. But yeah, like you said, right now, I think my biggest goal is just get as much rest and recovery in as I can, and spend as much time with family and friends. Also, I think that's just a huge aspect that has been missing from my life for the past few years. So just catching up on family and friend time, I think that's a major goal. But as soon as that's done, it's head down and get to work again and start training. So I'm excited for that. I'm really looking forward to getting back onto the field and with some new players. So I'm really excited to see what we can do from here.
That's awesome. So my final question to you would be kind of do you have any advice for young athletes wanting to get to your position where they've qualified for the Olympics and have gone? So like what advice do you have to get there? And that's pretty broad, by the way, but you can put it in a nutshell.
I think just stick to your goals and dream big and know that hard work really does pay off. So me coming from a small town, I didn't think I could ever go to the Olympics or train to become an Olympian. So I think just knowing that there are endless possibilities, and if you work hard enough, that you can fulfill your dreams.
One last question, actually. How popular is rugby in Vulcan, Alberta?
Huge now.
Well, okay. Prior to this, I'm just curious, because this is such a different sport than you hear. I'm from small town Alberta. I'm from Ottawa, 800 people. There's like baseball, hockey. That's your sport, plus school sports. So like, I'm just rugby. So is rugby popular down there, or?
Our high school has a high school team, and it's pretty popular. I wouldn't say it's like above hockey or baseball or anything here, but I think it's definitely growing, and it's really good to see that there's a lot of grassroots programs that are starting to be implemented for people to start playing rugby, and I'm really excited to see how rugby can grow and how big it can get.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome, Keyara. That is it. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to chatting with you sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Bye.